Hi, Purpose Partner. Welcome to another episode of Rise to Your Purpose, a personal and spiritual development podcast for female entrepreneurs with a mission. We are your hosts, Brandie and Natalie.
We are founders of Victorious Entrepreneurs Rising, where we guide women to build profitable businesses online through diversifying your income, using kingdom principles in marketing, and operating in a spirit of rest so that you can create kingdom impact.
After this episode, be sure to join our Purpose Partner Facebook community and get your copy of our Rise to Your Purpose devotional so we can continue to serve you as we partner together in our faith and business. Let's dive into today's episode. For those of you new, welcome. My name is Brandie Thomas. I'm one of the founders of Victorious Entrepreneurs Rising, along with my sister Natalie Lawson, and we're on a mission to help you build an profitable online business that creates kingdom impact while operating in rest. I talk about operating in rest all the time. I think it's so important. It's been such a game changer for me since I learned how to really trust God, how to partner with Him and the Holy Spirit, and do everything I do in that spirit of rest. So in regards to that, I want to share with you my day yesterday and just how crazy it was and the lessons that I learned from that, the experiences that I had yesterday, and maybe point you to when you're having a similar day, how you can shift from maybe your default flesh setting into your default kingdom setting and identity. So just to fill you in, if you didn't catch my stories from yesterday, so it started like Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, I have clients all day. It's a really busy day for me. And my last client is at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we were actually shifting her old domain, or her old website, into our new platform. So we were moving domains, keys to point from this platform to the new platform that I'm building. Her new website, her coaching program, all the things. We're moving all the things. So I'm building all of that for her and also doing business coaching with her to help her launch her new course. It's awesome. It's going to serve women who have escaped from domestic abuse and help them on their healing journey of overcoming that. So obviously her and we're shaking the kingdom. We're creating kingdom impact. We're helping people grow in their faith, grow in their trust of God, and just like get that healing that they need. And she's a domestic abuse survivor herself. And so her story is very powerful. And the message that she's going to share with the women who God brings into her sphere of influence is going to be very impactful for the kingdom and for the world. So it's no surprise that the enemy would not want this to happen, would want to like put obstacles in our way. But guess what? The enemy does not have victory, and the enemy does not have the final say. We do. As daughters of the King, we already have the victory. And so right before I went to bed, like her website just totally got messed up. Like her homepage disappeared and it was replaced by a checkout page. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense in the background how this page is now the homepage, and where in the world did the homepage go? And it's like 11:30. I need to be going to bed. You know, I usually get up at 6:30, so I try to be in bed by 11, lights out, no later than 11:30. And here it is 11:30, and I haven't done my bedtime routine. So before I went to bed, I showered and I just washed myself with prayer, with worship, with, okay, I'm not going to be anxious. I'm not going to go into doubt. Did I have a moment of freak out? Definitely yes. And frustration. But I was like, okay, God's going to work through this. There's going to be glory that comes from this. I'm not going to sit in that reality. I'm going to shift into the actual reality that I'm a daughter of the King, that this mirage that's happening is really not, it's just to like set me off, but it's really not what's happening, right? Like there's going to be glory that comes from this. So shifting into that truth. And I went to bed with just like the Bible app playing, with my Radiant Leadership Academy affirmations playing, just to like help me just get my mind off of worst case scenario, right? Like I'm going to have to rebuild this whole page. And just went to bed like, you know what? It's going to be okay. Whatever happens, it's going to be okay. So the next day I woke up and I just went into, I need to create an atmosphere of peace in my home, in my morning. So Wednesdays, we don't have preschool, we don't have to be anywhere. So I slept in. Elijah and I got up. I did my Bible time with him instead of doing it early like I normally do. And had my diffuser going, had worship and soaking music going. It was a beautiful day outside, so we went for a walk. We got outside a bit, and I just kept praying like God's going to restore this, or He's going to give me grace to, let me be able to rebuild that homepage easier and faster. So when it came time to like go back into business mode, I did go into the platform and it was still messed up. So it didn't magically reappear like I was really praying it would. But I was able to rebuild that page in like 18 minutes because thankfully it did not publish. So in the back end, it was showing incorrectly, but on the actual website, it was still showing the home page, but it didn't have like any of the new edits. So I was able to pretty much copy and paste everything, rebuild the home page for this client fairly quickly. But for whatever reason, it kept reverting back to this checkout page. And I like tried to clone the website and like I could not delete this page. Like the delete button was not there. And my client was like, hey, like I saw you published it and it like refreshed it. And now it's back to that like checkout page. I was like, don't worry, I'm on it. Like pray with me. Like there's definitely something going on here because buttons are missing. Like there's something going on. And her and I were talking and I was like, no weapon. I'm like, I'm just praying no weapon formed against me, which shall prosper. Almost immediately after praying that, the delete button popped up and another menu option, make this the home page, popped up. So I was able to set the actual home page as the home page, delete that extra checkout page, and get it out of her website altogether. And everything was working perfectly, like the way it was designed to work. And it was very trying. It was very hard for me to stay in rest because it was definitely causing frustration. And like I was on a timeline before my next meeting. So I was trying to get this fixed, like work that had already been done. I even had an intern helping me. So like there was a lot of work that went into this website, not only for myself, but from another person that I actually paid a little bit of money to just like help with some extra work that I needed. And I was like, it's so frustrating to double, it was taking hours from my day. It was just taking a lot, right? The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And so being aware of that, one, helped me shift into rest a lot faster, but also reflecting on the events of the day helped me to just continue to learn and grow on my journey of growing in partnership with God and my faith and business. So here are 3 things that I want to share with you that I learned from that experience yesterday of continuously, like it was almost like the same issue kept coming up over and over for me all day yesterday. Like there was different things throughout the day that kept pushing me back into just frustration, overwhelm, like almost like anger. Like it was a very like trying day for me yesterday. And so here are 3 things that after reflecting on all of that, what I'm taking with me into the rest of this week and the rest of my life, honestly. So the first thing I want to share with you is keep your eyes on Jesus, especially in the storm. I don't know if you guys are watching the Chosen series, but the 3rd season was absolutely amazing. And I felt like all the stories applied to me and where I'm at in my life. And the very last episode is the story of Peter walking on water in the storm, right? So he has the faith that like, Jesus, if you command me to walk on water, I believe I'm going to walk on water. He had that strong of faith. So when Jesus is like, come to me, Peter gets out of the boat and it's still storming. Like there's waves, there's rain, there's wind. And Jesus like, just keep looking at me, Peter, keep looking at me, Peter, keep looking at me. And Peter's looking at him and he's walking on the waves and walking in the wind and he's walking in the storm. He is walking on water towards Jesus because he's keeping his eyes on him. So regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the storm raging around him, he was still walking on water. But the moment he started looking right and left, looking at the waves, looking at the wind and the rain, he started to sink. And he's like, "Don't let me go, Jesus, don't let me go." And Jesus catches him and pulls him back up, and they get into the boat to safety, and Jesus calms the storm. And that right there is just everything to me. That means so much to me, because that's what I want. I want to be Peter when I'm like watching Jesus. My eyes are fixed on him. It doesn't matter if technology is failing. It doesn't matter if Elijah's pushing every button that I have. As long as I keep my eyes on Jesus, I'm going to make it through the storm, and he will not let me fall. He will not let me go. He will not let me drown. So lesson number 1 is to just keep my eyes on Jesus. And when I start to feel that frustration, when I start to feel like the storm and the circumstances are overtaking me, to make sure my eyes are going straight back to Jesus's eyes. And knowing that if I have faith in him and I keep my eyes on him, I will walk on water. So that was lesson number 1 from yesterday. Lesson number 2 is that everything that I went through yesterday was an opportunity for me to grow and practice being the person that God's created me to be. Being a person that operates in rest. And so, yes, the enemy may still be attacking or, trying to like make my day mess up, but God's going to use that for me to continue to grow, for me to continue to be sanctified and refined. And so shifting from giving the power to the enemy, to Satan, and giving the power back to Jesus, like, okay, Jesus, like, how can I learn faster so that then when this comes up, it's like done, like I recognize, okay, this is what's happening. I'm going to keep my eyes on Jesus. I'm going to operate in this spirit of rest. I'm going to do these things, these steps to maintain an atmosphere of peace, to maintain a spirit of worship. And so yesterday, I felt like I had to still learn that lesson. Each time I was able to do it, like shift into rest more quickly. But God was still refining me, and he was going to use these circumstances throughout my day that were frustrating, that were overwhelming, that were like I felt like I was just hitting my head against a hard rock. He was using that to continue to grow me and refine me, because he wants me to stay in rest. He wants me to come to him and wear his yoke of rest, of ease, of light, right? Like he says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon me, and your burdens will be light." So, right, like we don't have to carry all the things. We actually are created to operate in rest and peace and sound mind and discipline. And so looking at yesterday's events as these are opportunities for me to continue to grow and be refined and practice being that woman that God's calling me to be. The third thing that I learned from yesterday is switching my default belief and mode and identity from I'm a human, my flesh, there's this battle between my flesh and my spirit, and my default mode is flesh. That I feel like is a lie from the enemy. And now switching that mindset and reframing it to my identity, my default identity is I'm a daughter of the King. And I have a kingdom identity now. I've accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior. I am a new creation. I am a saint. I'm a royal priesthood. I am clothed with strength and dignity, right? Like I am a co-heir to Jesus Christ. That's my default identity now, not my flesh. My default identity is in the kingdom, is in who God says I am. So start claiming and walking in and owning that default identity and rejecting my flesh identity, because that is not who I am anymore. And I don't need to be enslaved by that or chained down by that anymore. Like that is dead and done. So that was a huge reframe and shift for me yesterday. And I have to credit some of these lessons to going through my Radiant Leadership Academy coaching and life coaching certification. So if you've been following my journey, you know that I've been through Radiant Leadership Academy through the Girl Power Alliance program twice, and now I'm able to go through their Radiant Leadership and Life Coaching Certification program to actually coach this program to other women. I'm so excited. I fly out to San Diego at the end of this month, and we'll do like our intensive in person, and I'll actually be certified to have my first class, which I'm going to be doing starting in June. So part of our assignment was to coach 2 people and also be coached by 2 different people going through the program. And like, that was my problem yesterday, was like, hey, I'm literally living a problem that I need to be coached on. So let's talk through this. And it was so amazing to have my sister, Michelle Tufford, her and I were coaching each other, practicing coaching each other. And those were some things she's like, your identity is not your flesh anymore. Like we need to reframe our identities to be in the kingdom. That's our new identity. So that was like a big aha moment for me. And then she also mentioned, it's kind of funny because it seems like God's like continuously bringing these opportunities so that you can learn and grow. And that was another aha moment. Like, okay, so again, reframing, keeping my eyes on Jesus, looking at these, maybe storms or circumstances of what am I supposed to learn from this? How am I supposed to grow? How can I use this as an opportunity to be refined and become more like Jesus? And then again, how can I reframe and switch my identity from I'm no longer bound by my flesh. I am in the kingdom now. I am a saint. I am a daughter of the king. That's my default identity. And that was like, huge. And so that's why I love the coaching industry. That's why I love working with Christ-centered resources and kingdom coaches, because it just brings everything together. It just makes so much sense. So I wanted to share that with you, ladies who are listening, in our Purpose Partner community, in our, just in my profile in general, like on this platform, because this is huge. And as we're partnering together in our faith and business, we need to be aware of all of the ways that God is working and partnering with us. And sometimes it doesn't look the way we want it to look, but it doesn't mean that God's not right there with us, that he is not partnering with us, that he's not working all things for our good. And so having that faith and making that our truth and making that our identity in God's truth is just, it's going to change everything. And I can tell you today, I made it to preschool 5 minutes early. I've been in so much flow today. So it's like, I must have learned some lessons. I must have finally got, okay, Brandie, this is what I've been trying to teach you. You finally got it. All right, we can move on. And today has just been so much more peaceful, so much more in flow. Elijah's been, we got up early, we kept in flow with him. I kept him on track this morning. And I actually ended up getting laundry done, getting dishes started. I'm going out of town this weekend. And it is just so amazing, really, how your life, your business, everything changes when you partner with God. So if you are looking for resources that will help you grow in your faith, in your business, in your just personal life as well, drop GPA. Let's chat about that. If you're looking for additional resources or just one-on-one coaching, you can drop coaching and I can share with you what I personally offer. But I would love ultimately just to help you grow in your faith and business so that we can operate from rest, create kingdom impact, and yes, build a profitable business that's going to serve the world. So with that, I hope you guys have an awesome day. I love you all, ladies, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We would love to hear from you. So please share your takeaways by tagging @LiveVictorious over on Instagram and leave a review.
This will help us get more visibility and reach more women like you for the kingdom. We appreciate you and are praying for you as you shine your light in the business world and rise to your purpose.